Hi everyone, my name is Joseph, and today I want to discuss Digimon Liberator, other comic portion, Episode 4, Part 2, Fable, Waltz. So this is the conclusion to, as I just stated, Episode 4. It's looking like all the episodes will be divided into two parts, and so far I'm totally okay with that, I'm fine with that. This part, just like with Part 1, is mostly battle focused. It's continuing the battle between Vi and Arisa, and despite it being battle focused, the story is doing enough with the characters that one is just engaged with it. Again, I want to restate that I really don't have much experience when it comes to card games. I have not physically played a card game since I was quite young. And in terms of digital card games, my past experience with official games was actually with the Game Boy Advance with Yu-Gi-Oh! I have tried to utilize an emulator to play the Game Boy Advance ROM. I'm also aware of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Link Duelist Link, I believe it's called, or something like that. Not the free one, but the one that actually one pays for. I am aware about that game as well, and how it's if one is a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Card battles, people recommend it. I haven't purchased it yet, but it is on my wish list. And then in terms of video games, as I just stated, with my history with card games, I do have some history when it comes to card-like games or card-adjacent games. So things like Chain of Memories, Mega Man Battle Network. Although cards aren't technically utilized, I would argue it's a card-like, cards as in a traditional card game. A card game system or mechanic is being utilized. Hopefully that made sense. I do thank you for your patience. I just want that to be clear because I don't want anyone to think that I'm being biased, because I am a big Digimon fan. I will admit that. And I will be honest with that. I am probably being patient in terms of the card battles because of the fact that I'm a Digimon fan. But with that being said, hopefully everyone here is aware, if you've been following my videos, I'm a big fan of narration, of moving the plot forward. If I was not enjoying Liberator, because as I stated already, it seems like Liberator is more character focused than narrative focused, I would have negative things to say. But the reason why I don't is just because I'm loving the way that the writers are developing these characters as they engage in these battles, as they engage in these circumstances that they're not familiar with. I'm referring to Terramon and Shumon first appearing. So this time, usually I only look at one panel, but this time I have three different panels that I want to focus on just because, again, I just like the characterization that it adds. So the first part, Episode 4, Part 1 of Fable Waltz ends in such a way where it looks like Arisa should be feeling quite stressed or frustrated. It's looking like Violet or Vi is going to beat her in their battle game, in their card battle game. But the last portion, Part 1, ends with Arisa feeling quite confident. And so this part continues where that left off. And I really did love and enjoy how they showed Arisa at home picking a card deck. And how she's excited, that feeling that she explains. I'm not gonna lie, although it's been a while since I played a card game physically, I know exactly what she's referring to when she states that feeling that one has when they draw the next card and they know what plan they want to do. I guess that feeling also comes a little bit with RTS games, a little bit real-time strategy games, things like Fire Emblem, Halo Wars, Warhammer, Dawn of War, and so forth, right? Where, especially when it's turn-based as well, so not real-time strategies, so strategy games in general, both real-time strategy and turn-based. How when one is able to, like for example, I'm currently playing through Advanced Wars, the reboot edition on the Switch, and nothing's more exciting than when I have all my units placed and my next turn is over, when my enemy's turn is over, I know exactly what it is that I want to do. I know I'm not actually drawing out a new card, but sometimes it may be that I made a new unit in the previous turn and I'm excited to utilize that unit, or I finally got that unit into position and finally I'm going to again utilize that unit. So again, although I may not have that one-for-one card game experience, or it's been a while, I know exactly what Arisa is referring to. Pardon me everyone, I feel like those past couple sentences I really stumbled with my words, so I thank you for your patience. Hopefully I made sense, but if not, please do let me know. Yeah, again, I understand what Arisa was referring to, so I really like that little lead up of her explaining how she has her relationship with her deck. Since we're talking about the deck really quickly, I think it's quite interesting how when Terramon was speaking to Shoto on the D deck, he actually saw his head, right? So I'm trying to really quickly imagine, and this was the D deck. I know it's quite big, but let's just pretend Terromon's head was popping up on top of right here. It's just his head. I thought that was really, at first I was not a fan of it for a split second, but as I continued reading it, it really grew on me, and I appreciated that little detail. I thought it made it more engaging in a positive way. It was comical, but it was not comical in a haha, let's laugh at you. It was more comical as in we're laughing together because that was a good joke. With Arisa's D deck, I noticed that there is no head for Shumon. It's just the D deck, and that is all. The D deck does glow in that greenish yellowish color that is associated with Shumon. And at first that I wouldn't say it caught me off guard when I was reading. It didn't make me stumble. It was just a detail that I noticed, and I was able to keep on reading. But I like that. The reason why I like that, and I might specify, I might come back to this detail in a future video. But I suppose for me the reason why I like it is because it helps to differentiate Shoto and Arisa, or rather not Shoto and Arisa, but Terramon and Shumon. I would argue that Shumon, and I think I stated this before, so far has been shown to be a little bit passive, not as outgoing as Terramon, and I think that little detail really adds to that characterization. Terramon, of course, is not going to care if he looks a little bit ridiculous with just his head poking out, if he even thinks about that. Terramon is here to help Shoto to become the best that he can be, and so he will approach it any way that he can, right? I like how Shumon in this chapter, episode, essentially asks Arisa's permission to engage, to battle, to be a little bit more forthcoming. So I might be overthinking it, but I feel like that detail really lends to that little characterization. So I thought it was awesome. So going back to the panel that I want to look at, after Arisa is explaining her past and why she's not nervous, so she states it's not over. Actually, yeah. So I draw one and play Junkmon from my hand. It's not over. I can still come back, and she looks quite pumped and quite confident. And Shoto, there's just ellipses, dot 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 dot. Those are the number of dots verbatim, and a little on the side, huh? And what I liked about that panel so much is that obviously Shoto, his eyes are looking straight forward, so clearly he's looking at Arisa, I'm going to deduce. But Terramon, in the panel you see Shoto, and it's about most of his torso, and for Terramon, the panel cuts off a little bit under his chin, and he's tilting his head a little bit, looking at Shoto. And that did, when I was reading the comic for the comic for the first time, the manga, the webcomic, excuse me, when I saw that, it made me chuckle a little bit. It was like, why is he looking at Shoto? Why isn't he paying attention to the battle that's going on at hand? And then I love the next panel. It's just all white with the dialogue from Terramon. You should be taking notes, Shoto. And that's it's just all white. There is another piece of dialogue, but that's going back to the battle. I just really like that so much because although it's simple, again, it really adds to the characterization of Terramon. He really does seem to be a mentor-like figure. I stated this before, how Terramon reminds me a little bit of Logomon, but I would definitely say Terramon, I would argue, is much more of a mentor figure than Logomon is. I would argue that Logomon will only be willing to work with one if one has proven, this sounds mean, but hopefully one knows what I'm referring to, if they're quote-unquote useful, that I think would be a positive part of the community, and then Logomon will be willing to work with you. With Terramon, it's looking more like he doesn't really care if you do stumble a bit. As long as you put it in the determination, then Terramon is willing to work with you. So essentially, I would argue Terramon, for me so far, seems to be more like a personal trainer, while Logomon is more of a well-known agent who typically works on their own, but he's willing to expand his work. He's willing to expand his typical work conditions because the other party has proven themselves, right? So, again, hopefully that makes sense, but just the way that the writers are characterizing Terramon, at first I was really thinking to myself, he's so similar to Logomon, what are they going to do to differentiate between them? And I do see the difference between them, and they are standing out as individual characters, and I just am very much enjoying that. The next panel that I really did like, and part of me is, I'm probably not going to get this Digimon's name right, but Shumon's evolution into Cinderellamon, I believe, Cinderellamon, something like that. It's a very simple panel, but Cinderellamon, however the name is pronounced, is fully in the background with Arisa standing in front of Cinderella Mon, and she has her arms crossed, and she looks quite focused, ready to engage. And it's just a really cool panel, and I believe that the attack is called Overclock. When I got to that panel for the first time, again, I was in it to win it, and I was like, this is cool, this is really a lot of fun. I didn't so much get the chills, but I was enjoying myself, and I was smiling while I was reading this part. And again, I'm just loving Arisa's characterization. She is like a combination of Minmay and Sora, and even maybe a little bit of Kairi. Yeah, no, Kairi. Sorry, everyone, not Kairi. Oh no, Lapse of Judgment. Oh wow, I can't recall Tai Chi's little sister, but the reason why I said Kairi was because of Oh no, everyone, I'm not gonna lie, this is actually really bugging me. Give me a quick second. Oh, her name is Kairi. Then why am I second guessing myself? Oh, sorry. When again, I do these videos in the morning, so obviously I need to eat my breakfast. So let me go back to the video, or rather to the comic panel. Again, thank you for your patience, everyone. I don't know why I was second guessing myself for Kairi. It's been a while since I played Kingdom Hearts. Is her name also Kairi? And that? Anyways, so I am really loving Arasa's character. I think the writers are doing a good job of. At first, I thought she was going to be a more stereotypical female character, but no, she is so much her own character with her own agency, and I'm loving how she's not just a support character for Shoto. It's looking like she's going to be fleshed out as well. Maybe not as fleshed out as Shoto because he's the protagonist. But who knows? Maybe she will be the duoderist. I may not be pronouncing that correctly, but when there's two protagonists instead of just one, and if that is end up being the case, I honestly do not mind that very much at all, because again, I am loving Shoto, Terramon, I'm loving Arisa and Shumon. And even these other support characters that are appearing, like Violet/Vi, she's a really cool character as well. And Cool Boy, even though he was there just for a couple of seconds. I like the panels. I'm only laughing because in the last episode, how Shoto and Arisa were thinking about what if Cool Boy finds out about the fact that they're lying about engaging with wild Digimon, and just that panel with Cool Boy looking all pissed off. It was very well done, very comical. I mean, the fact that I'm thinking about it is making me laugh still. I think is testament to that. But yeah, so this panel, again, I just like it a lot because Arisa looks badass. She doesn't like characters looking badass. One of those things where it's always a lot of fun. The rule of cool, right? Anywho, then the last panel that I do want to focus on in terms of dialogue. By the way, what do you think she was going to ask for if you had lost? This is Shoto talking to Arisa, talking about Vi. And the panel has Shoto with half his torso showing, with his finger like this, and Arisa next to him. And Shoto above his head, it says, "I wonder." And for Arisa, it just says, ellipses. And beneath that, Arisa states, "What could it be?" And then we cut on over to Violet and her Digimon. Excuse me, I forget the Rizarmon's ice form name. Maybe it's Ice Rizarmon. I'm overthinking it. But Achu, Violet sneezes, and Ice Rizarmon, I'm not sure that is his name. I'm just gonna go ahead and call him that. Oh wait, that's not even Rizarmon. Excuse me. But continuing, "Are you okay, Lady Vi?" "It's fine, Ghostmon." Sorry, let me start over just because I'm rolling my eyes at myself. So again, I thank you for your patience, everyone. So Achu, "Are you okay, Lady Vi?" "I'm fine, Ghostmon. I think Arisa and Shoto are talking about me." Anyways, ellipses. "What fun adventure is up next? Why don't you just be honest? You should make friends with Arisa. That's not what a rival would do." Oh dear. And then the panel ends with Violet with her hands on her hips looking forward, and Ghostmon's like, oh, looking forward as well, and it says to be continued. It sounds silly, but I got the chills when I'm getting the chills every time I finish both Seekers and Liberator, the comic and novel portion. And I got slight chills right now because it's always fun discussing themes about properties one is adoring, loving. But I just enjoy the way that it ends because it might be stereotypical. One might want more real rivalries where there's an actual person who is quote-unquote bad/evil, and it's clear that one is not supposed to support them. But when Violet first appeared, I was judging a book by their cover, and I thought for sure she was going to be one's typical "I don't like you, I'm popular," or just the way that she was dressed. "I'm such a unique person, and you're a typical feminine individual," alright, so with the way that she dresses. If one reads the comic, right, hopefully the nose like her sweater doesn't always go over her shoulders completely, right? So I thought Violet would be poking fun at that, kind of like that gothic versus popular kid maybe, or maybe again as I stated, Violet is popular and Arisa is more of a nerdy kind of character. I love this other route that the story took instead. And yeah, while Violet may have a rivalry against Arisa, it's a friendly rivalry. It's not one that's just to poke fun at, just to be mean. A really good example would be like from Gary from Pokemon, the original. Talking about the games, not so much the show, but I guess the show too. And also, I don't think he has a canon name, but the rival from Silver, Gold, and Crystal as well. That rivalry, well, that one did evolve into something more at the end, but it started off very antagonistically just for no reason, right? So, I also like in the middle of the story how, not in the middle, but towards the end of the battle, Arisa explained to Shoto that she appreciates Violet's friendship. How when Violet first transferred over, essentially it looks like Violet right away started challenging Arisa in a positive way, and in such a way where I could tell that you have a lot to offer. I'm going to push you so you can continue growing, and that's really cool. And it seems like Arisa took that in stride. And I'm just really enjoying the relationships that all the characters have with one another so far. The friendship between Shoto and Arisa. I also like how she restates that she does not mind helping him. I won't lie, everyone. I am being a little bit 99%. If Shoto and Arisa do end up forming a romantic relationship, I actually don't mind. I think they're very cute together. Oh no, but then I forget he's 19 and she's 16. Oh, I take that back then. I don't know why they went with that age difference. I guess maybe this might be a cultural thing, but it's too bad she wasn't also at least 18. But anyways, if that's a sign or indicator that Arisa and Shoto are going to be friends only, then I also don't mind that as well, because again, the relationship is quite cute together. I could see them being fun in a romantic setting, or also just being fun in a platonic setting. And then for the relationship between Violet and Arisa, I hope Violet does come out again. And I like how one could tell that she wants to have a friendship, a relationship with Arisa, she being Violet, but she's just so stubborn in the way that she's approaching this. What is it that she says? Ghostmon, why don't you just be honest? You should make friends with Arisa. That's not what a rival would do. I think that's really cool. Again, Violet being Arisa's rival is more in terms of helping each other grow rather than just being a bully and using one's possible privileged position to demean and belittle other people. So I am, as always, enjoying Digimon Liberator. I can ask, are you guys enjoying it as well? My specific question for this episode is, what did you guys think about Violet? Are you hoping that she'll come out again as a recurring character? When I say recurring, I don't mean like a regular character, but recurring as in she'll pop up again, maybe with another group of administrators. She won't just be brushed off to the side. Kind of like if one has Red Seekers. I won't lie, I feel like that's what occurred with both Hatsune, the receptionist, but then also, part of me, it's been a while since I've read it, but now I am starting to forget the names, but not Yulin, but Yulin's partner, the one with the Nunimon. I really wanted to get more details about her and Hatsune, but we never really got that. So I'm hoping that the writers do come back to Violet and continue fleshing out the relationship between Violet and Arisa, and continue fleshing out the characterization for Violet. As always, everyone, I really do appreciate you guys watching / listening. Thank you so much, and thank you also for the engagement. As always, I do appreciate it, and also your patience, because I know I stumble over my words. I feel like I've been doing that a lot with the past couple of videos, so again, thank you for your patience. Have a great day, everyone. Have a prodigious day, and take care.